I
met
we want to
you.
hear your evolution, before you met me.
Before I met
What's
you.
happening pre-Vaneese?
Well, I mean, I was already a therapist, so I got my degree and got my doctorate degree when I was 25. So I'm 35 now, and this was about 4 or 5 years ago when I met you, and I was kind of getting comfortable, right? Because everybody around me, nobody had any degrees. I come from Brookfield. Y'all know Brookfield?
Right.
No, Oakland? Yeah. Okay. So that's where I grew up, was like in Brookfield, and so nobody in my community, nobody in my family even had gone to college, let alone ever got a degree. And so once I started making that kind of money and trying to understand how to manage in that life, it was a little difficult because nobody else around me was doing it.
Yeah.
And then I got really comfortable in being just that. Like, I'm a doctor, that's good. I mean, I can live on that for the rest of my life. But I knew that there was something more inside of me that said, like, no, you're meant to do more. Like, go out there, be something else, you know. And it took a invitation, similar to your invitation. Where I was in a relationship and I was like just juiced to get in a relationship because in my mind I was like I had a choice to make in my head. Like I created this limitation that either you're gonna be a doctor or be successful career-wise, or you're gonna be successful in like a family relationship-wise. I thought it had to be a choice. I didn't think you could have both.
Wow.
And so when I got into it, I was like, let me hold on to this situation as much as possible because like, what if I don't ever get another one? You know how your mind go crazy on those things. And so I just broke up with him, and then I met you. And so because of the relationship, it led me to go to some business conference. I went to a business conference, and it was mostly other people that were there. And I met and I learned about business coaching and masterminds and all this stuff. That none of that was anything that was introduced to me before. And then I saw you at Argosy. I don't know if you remember, you came to Argosy, and I was like, oh my God, like you could be a sister girl, black, and do this stuff too, because everybody else I was seeing was a group of white entrepreneurs that I was around, and I didn't know people could be themselves. I didn't feel connected to them.
Yeah.
And then I saw you, and I was like, I'm connected to her. I'm gonna work with her. I don't even know how this works, but I was gonna connect to her. And I went, I connected. I remember the whole thing, but and you gave me so much time, like I just felt like even mentorship and the business coaching aspect.
But it sounded like you were in the beginning, the early stages, that like you said, you didn't have the role models.
Right.
You know, and you kind of felt like this is the top, and if I stay here, I'm good.
Yeah.
Which we know, Rich, some of us do that. Some of us get to the top of where we are, and we're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
And we don't stretch and grow, and then when somebody else comes, you know, next to us, and they supersede us, we're like, wait a minute, where you going?
Right.
Where you going way up there?
Yeah.
You know, so it was good. And then also, I think the point that you made about that you can have both.
Yes.
I used to think that I had to do either or.
Yeah.
I just think that if you did this thing, then you could have that thing. Right. Your life works in a concert.
Yeah.
It's all moving parts. So what about you, Tamiko? So what was going on in your life before Boldness?
Well, what I remember was the first time I met you was at an event you did when I went with another friend of mine. And at the time I was struggling like seriously financially. And so I was in what you call survival mode. And the quote I remember getting from Vaneese was, you need to start striving because you're in survival mode. You can't do nothing until you get out of surviving. And I was like, okay. And that means exactly what? Right? And at the time I was doing a different type of business. At the time I was doing event planning, which I had done for like 20 plus years. And it wasn't, I was doing okay, not living enough to make the rent every month because I had gotten laid off. So I was just in this transition mode and trying to figure out how, and I was taking every little gig that came along, right? Like, oh, you paying me $15? Okay, I'll do that, and just even talking with Vaneese, it was a lot of, you need to, accept what's your value, you really gonna accept $15? What's that gonna do, so just a lot of self-awareness, learning. So I was in that space where it was just, you all know, when you're surviving, you don't see anything else. You can't identify with anything else. You're just trying to figure out, where am I going to get this? How do I make the rent? How do I pay the light bill? How do you make sure your kid got food? And for the first time in my life, at that point, I had never been on financial assistance, like in terms of food stamps. Well, I guess now it's a debit card. So I didn't know anything about that, and it was like, well, you know what? They say they got that out there. I'm gonna take advantage of that because I've also paid into that. Sometimes working right? So, but it took a little hit to your, your ego, right? Okay, so I was like, thank God it's a debit card, now I have to pull out these stamps. Wait, you said I can't get, okay. Get that bag, trying to figure it out, so I was grateful for that. But just living and learning how to come out of surviving.
Yeah.
And changing that mindset is actually changing the mindset to striving even when you're in survival.
Yeah.
It's making that switch over, and when you begin to make that switch over, things start happening and shifts happen. Some stuff don't feel so good because it's that shift. It's like how the earthquake happens, right?
Yeah.
And the earthquake has to shift a little bit, shake us up, move things around, and then it settles out for a little bit. So I would say that's kind of where,
And I remember Tamiko and I had a phone conversation, and we were on the phone for 2 hours. And for 2 hours, she was fighting me. 2 hours, she was fighting. I think by the second hour, I was like, okay, I'm tired now. I'm gonna let you go because you tired, because you fighting me. And then probably another couple years came back past, for us to reconnect again. And I asked her before we started talking, I said, you done fighting now? You done fighting? But I'm so glad to see that, she is really owning her boldness, because she also fought me about letting go of that 15 cents, that $15. Because it was like, what do they call it? The bird in the hand beats two in the bush. And she was like, no, I got this $15. You don't understand. If I let go of this $15, ain't nothing over here.
Right.
But it was like, but the $15 is costing you, like you're paying quadruple the amount of what the $15 is. And you're not happy. You're miserable. So, you want to keep that? So all that to say is that sometimes that we're in survival mode, and we're so busy holding on to surviving until we don't realize that there is something else possible for us. And we're just addicted to the pain, to the disappointment, trying to figure out how to break your food stamp debit card, versus putting the energy trying to figure out how to up-level yourself in your life. Right? Because we're comfortable with who we were surrounded to. So thank you for that. And so Renee, what was going on in your life, that led up to your boldness?
Let's see, because I've done a few different projects. The current one being Fly Life Travel, which came after Valdeza. But anyway, the first thing was we lost our daughter. She was 4 months old. It was very unexpected. We found out actually when she was delivered that she had multiple birth defects. So it was a total shock. And she lived for 4 months. And after that, I noticed, it took a couple of years, but I noticed that on 2 occasions, the anniversary of her death and her birthday, something special would just always happen, just out of the blue. The first thing I can remember was, I think it might have been on the birthday, like her first birthday, I got this random invitation. I blog, but I don't blog much, so I'm like, how do you even find my blog? I got this invitation to come and attend this dinner, and it was McDonald's was giving some ingredients to some chefs, some really, really good executive chefs, and they were going to see what they could do with the ingredients. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to this thing. I walk in. It's on her birthday, February 4th. And the anniversary of her death, February 4th, which is like the saddest day of my life. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this thing. I think I went by myself. Can't remember. But anyway, I go in, and when I get there, I see balloons. And I realize, this is her birthday party. This is a celebration of her life. This is what this is. There's balloons. There's tables set up with china, and it's like this 5-course dinner. So I was like, wow. And then I started to notice I'd get these random invitations. So about the 3rd year in a row, I was like, okay, I get it. I get what she's doing. She's trying to keep me from being sad on that day. So I decided I'd always wanted to do wellness retreats. And I don't know why I didn't do it. It was just like in the back of my head, back of my mind. So I was like, okay, I want to do these wellness retreats. And I started discussing it with a couple of girlfriends. We had gone to Temecula to do a half marathon, my first half marathon. And we were talking about it then, okay, Temecula, this is a wonderful place. And somebody else mentioned Sedona. And I was like, well, that might be I've never been to Sedona, but I'm loving Temecula. So, fast forward a couple months, I'm in line in San Francisco to pick up the race registration. I got addicted to these half marathons. I went from bed, not couch. I would come home and get to bed. Couch to half marathon. If you ever want to look it up, it's all over YouTube. I did a whole series on that. But anyway, I'm in line to pick up my bid for my next race. And there's two ladies behind me, and we just started talking, and I said, I want to do a wellness retreat, and trying to decide between Temecula and Sedona. And one of the ladies said, Sedona. Have to do it in Sedona. And I'm like, I don't even know you. We're talking about why. I said, well, man, why? And she said, oh, because it's so serene. But Serene was my baby's name.
Oh.
That did it. That did it.
Wow.
So we did the first retreat that year, the following February, and we started to do it in Sedona each year.
Wow.
So that was the thing that got me out there. And then I started doing I do the wellness retreats, but I took it globally. Almost took September, will be 2 years ago.
Wow.
When I wanted to have girlfriends go with me to Dubai for my birthday. Not just girlfriends, I invited 40 minute girls. Nobody signed up. Baby, girls, 2 years. I was so mad. I was like, I don't understand. It was 2 years of that shit. I'm talking about it's too expensive. I was so upset about it. I went on Facebook.
I'm laughing because when we had a meeting one day, and you were hot. You were hot because you had all that time and nobody had signed up, and you were like, how is this social media stuff working? This social media, because I think it was like, I can't believe it's been 2 years and nobody signed up. It's got to be the social media that is not, right?
Even my husband didn't sign up. So I went by myself. I was like, what about all y'all? So I joined this travel group and went with them, made my payments, and so somewhere along the line, my husband was like, "Oh, you still going?" And then my daughter was like, "You're actually not going to be home on your birthday?" No, I think it was my 50th, right? It was my 40th. I can't remember. 50th. Yeah, 50th. I'm like, I'm doing something special. So I go on the trip, I come back, and it's like a month or so later, and I'm on Facebook, and my father passed away a couple months after, I guess, and I can't remember. Anyway, my father passed away. My father was the one who put the spirit of travel in me. When I was about 10, I got my first passport. He got a job in Saudi Arabia. I'm speeding it up because I don't take too long. And the family moves to Saudi Arabia. We never even heard of this place, but we went. And so from that point, travel was my life. So I just can't understand when someone tells me they can't go to Dubai. I just don't get that. So I go on Facebook, I start this group. I'm like, I'm starting a travel group. I'm going to find some people to travel with me. And I told people, random strangers, my story. I was like, I wanted to go to Dubai for my birthday, and nobody said. They were like, I would have gone. And I was like, okay, I'm going to call your bluff. I'm putting it out there. Let's go. So I went for my 50th and went back a month later with 11 people. My husband was one of them. Because he saw, she is really understanding. So that's
And since that happened 2 years ago, what would you say, has kind of kept you in living in your boldness? How many countries have you taken women to?
I can't even
Or some of the places, if you can't remember.
We just got back from Greece. There were 34 of us. That was my biggest group.
Wow.
So 11 was my first group. We've been to Cancun, not Cancun, what's the other one near here? Cabo. Twice. We've been to Dubai twice. I went the first time with the other people, but I've taken 2 more groups since then, so I've been 3 times. Let's see, Candace, where have we been?
You Thailand? Did you guys go to Thailand?
And no, that was by myself. I went to take a cooking class in Thailand. No, where else have we been? Yeah, we just went to Greece. I don't know, I can't think.
You guys gotta. What's your page on Facebook?
It's Fly Life Travel. Fly Life Travel.
But your page is closed right now. Or how do
You join it. It's a group. It's not a page.
Yeah.
Right. It's a group. So it's Facebook.com/groups/fly /flylife_travel, and then I invite you in.
So click invite, because I did see something say invite.
Or join group.
Okay.
And then I invite you because it's for women only. A man can come on certain trips if he's invited by a woman in the group. It's mostly women in our 40s, 50s, 60s, some 70s, because so many of the groups cater to younger crowd, and we just have different needs and different interests and all that. Where else have we been, honey?
It'll come up
We're
to you.
getting ready to go
So
to
here's-
Paris, and we're
Okay.
going to Cuba at the end of the year. Yes, I'm getting in Cuba. Yes. Paris and Morocco. That's the one.
Yeah,
You
Morocco.
went.
Yeah,
Girl,
Morocco.
going to
The
Morocco
pictures
the
were
second
beautiful.
time in October.
So let me ask you this, Tamiko, and yours. So in terms of, well, let me go back to Renee for 1 second. So Renee, did you leave your job?
My job, okay.
What had happened?
You asked me, and I hope you don't ask me this again later because I'm gonna mention it now.
Yeah.
You said what was something I wanted to say or advice, and my thing is don't try to knock down the walls in the comfort zone. When that comfort zone starts getting tight, don't start trying to make it more comfortable. Just get out. Okay, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You're outgrowing it.
Yeah.
So my job, it became boring by week 2. I should have been gone. But I think I stayed almost 3 years. Should have been gone. So what happened, it was so boring that I brought my laptop into my cubicle and I started Fly Life Travel in my cubicle. I'm like, if y'all want to pay me to sit here 40 hours and do nothing, I can't do that. And my husband's like, shoot, you getting a check for doing nothing? I got 2 degrees. I did not go through all that to do nothing. I cannot do this. It's driving me insane. It's killing me slowly.
But I like what you said about stop trying to knock down the walls in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because so many people are comfortable and then complaining about their
Right, you
bosses,
complain, right.
unhappy with the work.
You want things to be different in a place you ain't even supposed to be.
Yeah.
They didn't give me that project. I need more money. You're not supposed to be there.
Right. So why are you pushing
So what
it?
happened was they told me I couldn't take any more time off without paying for all my trips. And I was like, y'all ain't gotta pay me. And they were like, we're not gonna approve any more time off without paying. And I was like, okay, well then just let me go part-time. Well, we're not. So it was really so
Yeah, it was really time to go.
Then time to go.
So
And I finally put in the notice, and you know what they did?
what they do?
Am I going away? They had a big old banner on the wall with a picture of Dubai, a picture of every place, because they've been sitting in that dead office listening to me on the phone.
But that's so classic.
They do everything.
But that's funny. But how many people are behind the scenes looking at what you're doing? Looking at what you're doing, right? And you think they working, they really look, because they secretly living through you, Renee.
Right.
They was going on trips through you.
I was turning my air conditioner up. Man, we got 2 more spots on that trip. And they would send me emails. The cubicle is not for personal business. And then they told me, take the laptop home. I told my daddy I was crying. He was like, take the laptop home, bring it back in 3 weeks before you forget it.
So that's a good story. It's a really good story, Renee.